What if you could go from knowing literally nothing about AI to building intelligent applications used by thousands, maybe even millions of people? I know, it sounds like a massive leap, right? But with the right path, it's absolutely possible.
Because in today's world, AI is no longer just some isolated, super niche tech skill reserved for researchers in a lab. It's rapidly becoming a universal career superpower. Whether you're aiming to be an AI engineer, a data scientist, or an AI product builder, having these skills is a massive advantage as we head into 2026.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today we're walking through the ultimate beginner to advanced AI roadmap. Think of this as your complete step-by-step learning path designed to transform you from a total novice into a highly capable, advanced AI practitioner. We'll be breaking this down into 5 stages. First, building the foundation. Then, machine and deep learning. Next, generative AI and agents. After that, advanced skills and deployment. And finally, launching your career. Okay, let's dive into this. Phase 1. Building the foundation. Python, math, and data. Look, before we can even think about building complex neural networks, we've got to lay down the basics. And that starts with Python. It's the foundational language for artificial intelligence. I mean, nearly 58% of developers use it, and practically every modern AI library is built for Python first. So getting comfortable with things like variables, loops, and building some beginner coding projects, that is your absolute first step.
Next up is math. Now take a deep breath, don't panic. You absolutely do not need a PhD in mathematics here. You really just need a solid intuition across 4 core pillars. You've got statistics and probability to help model uncertainty and spot data patterns. Then there's linear algebra to understand how data is actually represented under the hood, kind of like the language of spreadsheets. And finally, basic calculus. This helps you understand optimization, which is essentially just how AI models learn from their mistakes and update themselves.
But here's the thing. AI is literally useless without data, so you need to develop strong data analysis skills. We're talking about knowing the difference between structured and unstructured data, cleaning up messy data sets, and whipping up visualizations. Because bad data will completely break your AI models. It's that classic rule, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Getting comfortable with handling datasets using tools like Pandas and NumPy is a massive milestone you need to hit before you ever try building a predictive model.
Moving on to Phase 2, machine and deep learning theory to application.
All right, this is where it gets really fun, where we transition from just moving data around to actually building AI. In machine learning, you're going to start by comparing supervised learning, where your data has clear labels, with unsupervised learning, where the algorithm kind of goes rogue and finds hidden structures entirely on its own. You'll pick up core concepts like classification and regression. But listen, the absolute necessity here is building real beginner projects. Make a spam email classifier or maybe a house price predictor. Actually applying the theory to projects is what builds your portfolio.
From there, we scale things up to deep learning, where neural networks loosely mimic the human brain itself. You'll dive into convolutional neural networks, or CNNs for short, which basically act as the eyes for analyzing images. And then recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, which serve as the memory for processing sequences like text. This is where you really start to grasp the math that lets these incredibly complex networks actually learn.
Welcome to Phase 3, Generative AI and Agents, the 2026 landscape.
This is the modern era of large language models, and one of the most critical architectures you've got to learn right now is the RAG pipeline, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Think of RAG like giving an AI an open book test. Step by step, you ingest documents, store their mathematical meanings in a vector database, and then retrieve those specific facts so the AI can generate a super accurate response based on your private data. And this brilliantly illustrates how we ground these models in reality.
But AI is already moving way beyond just passively answering text prompts. Enter the agentic AI framework. Agents are designed to perceive their environment, plan out strategies, act by triggering external tools or APIs, and learn from the feedback they get. So instead of just spitting out text, these autonomous workflows and AI agents actually take the initiative to complete multi-step business tasks entirely on their own. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to Phase 4, advanced skills and deployment, the real world.
Now that you've got this rock-solid foundation, this is the moment you get to choose your path and branch out into advanced specializations that really interest you. Maybe you want to dive deep into computer vision to work on autonomous vehicles or medical imaging. Or perhaps natural language processing is more your vibe, for things like semantic search and entity extraction. You could even explore robotics or reinforcement learning. This is the stage where you turn those basic building blocks into cutting-edge expertise.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the exact 2026 tech stack by separating the absolute necessities from the nice-to-have bonuses. Under programming, Python, Git, and SQL, non-negotiable must-haves. For software engineering, you definitely need a handle on REST APIs and Docker. On the AI side, prompt engineering and building those RAG pipelines we talked about are absolutely critical. And for agents, you simply must master tool use and function calling. Everything else on the right, awesome to know, but definitely just a nice-to-have starting out.
Plus, we have to remember that real AI lives in production. You absolutely must learn deployment and ML ops. That means figuring out how to serve your models using APIs, deploying your applications to cloud platforms, and setting up monitoring systems to track performance and catch weird errors. Let's be real, if your model isn't deployed and scalable, it's just a fun little experiment sitting on your laptop.
And finally, Phase 5, launching your career, becoming an AI professional.
All right, so how do we actually convert this roadmap into a paying career? First off, you have to avoid the biggest trap out there, unfocused learning. That's when you get completely stuck in tutorial hell, ignoring the underlying math, and totally skipping the hard work of building your own projects. So, the crucial point is you have to replace that with structured mastery. Build real projects, solve actual problems, and practice consistently.
And if you manage to achieve that mastery, the payoff is huge. The market demand right now is just surging. Recent data actually shows a 56% wage premium for roles that require AI skills compared to those that don't. Whether your dream is to be an AI engineer, a data scientist, or a product builder, the financial and career upside is honestly staggering.
So if I had to boil this entire journey down into one simple mantra, it would be this: learn fundamentals, build projects, solve real problems, and keep improving. Mastering AI isn't something you just cross off a to-do list. It is an iterative, lifelong process of continuously learning and applying what you know.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want you to walk away remembering one absolutely critical thing about this journey. The biggest advantage you can have in AI isn't raw talent.
It's consistency, putting in the work, persistent, structured learning, day after day, will beat raw intelligence every single time over the long run.
The people who start learning today are the exact ones who will help shape the world tomorrow. The roadmap is right in front of you now. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?